Hi, my name is Joshua Lopez. I am the nephew of John Collado, who was murdered by NYPD officer in 2011. And we just coming out of a meeting with the Ccrb, and I'm here with my friend Josmar Trujillo.
Yeah. So we met with the Civilian Complaint Review Board today. We're planning on filing charges against
James
Connolly, who's now a sergeant, but was a detective when he killed John Collado. John Collado was just trying to save one of his friends that he saw was getting into a fight by a plainclothes officer. He didn't know it was a cop. The cop ended up killing him, and that was 8 years ago. Now we're trying to get some sort of an action against Connolly after a civil trial found that he had lied. He had basically completely made up the circumstances around what had happened, and a civil jury awarded Joshua's family a settlement because of a wrongful killing. So what we want is to not just have the civil trial, but to have actually this officer face consequences. And Ccrb recently, because of a ballot initiative, got the power to investigate police officers for false statements. And James Connolly has continuously lied about what happened the day that he killed John Collado. And then during that time, he's gotten a promotion. And we want to make sure that that lie is actually not only made known to the public, but that is actually used to actually bring some sort of accountability, some sort of justice for Joshua's family. And so we want this cop gone. We want this cop fired from the force. We want him to actually pay for what he did. And even though, John Collado's life will never be returned to his family, this officer has to know that his family, Joshua, who's been protesting in the streets for all this time, are still on him and still going to work to get him held accountable. And this is a small piece of justice that a lot of family members have to fight tooth and nail for and fight years and years for. But Joshua's out here as evidence that family members continue to fight in these streets for their family.
And we won't give up. No matter how many years it takes, we're not giving up until these police officers are out of the force and held accountable.
And today I'll say the meeting was about talking about some of the process. Some of the people who are following the Eric Garner case, or the Daniel Pantaleo case, I should say, over the Eric Garner killing, kind of saw how long this takes and how much politics there are in terms of even getting a cop to be held accountable for something he did. So getting a cop who killed someone on camera took the Garner family 5 years. We're here to work on this case. The family's already been grieving for 8 years. This might take a couple of more years, but we're willing to do it and keep pushing for it because, even though justice delayed is justice denied, there still has to be some sort of a fight. And this officer cannot continue to climb the ranks through the NYPD, and others like him have to see that when you kill someone in cold blood, whether it's on camera, like Eric Garner, or whether it's like what happened with John Collado, where he is his word against, basically Connolly's word against everybody else's word, that you're going to pay the price, and the family members are going to be the ones to hold you accountable.
Yes. And also, we have a lot of evidence that came out in the civil trial. A lot of evidence is stacked up against the cop that murdered my uncle. So we're going to be using that as well to come after this officer with hard facts and evidence.
You hope to prosecute Connolly?
Yes, I've been looking forward to it. I've been looking for this day for 8 years already, 8+ years. I'm looking for Connolly to be out the force already. He murdered my uncle, and he murdered an 18-year-old 2 years before my uncle. And I don't want this to happen to another person, so we need to get Connolly out the force.
Okay, anything else, you guys?
Just looking forward to the real investigation outside of the NYPD. Really looking forward to it.
And we also are here to test the Ccrb and see what they do. They're supposed to oversee the police department. They're supposed to hold police officers accountable. Part of getting justice for John Collado is not only holding the police accountable, but holding the system accountable to see if it can actually hold police accountable. The Ccrb has to make sure that this happens. The board has to make sure that they vote, not just to give him a slap on the wrist, not just to dock him a few vacation days, but to actually get rid of cops who kill people in cold blood. So if the Ccrb cannot deliver justice for Joshua Lopez and the John Collado family, then we're not only dealing with injustice within the department, we're dealing with injustice even within the structures that are supposed to police the police. So this is a test not only on the police department, but also the Ccrb itself.
So what's the next step? What happens next?
So the next step is that March 1st is the day that the new powers officially go into effect, and so we're going to be first in line to file those charges for the cop. We don't know of anyone else who's done it this early. The powers were just voted on a few months ago, but the powers actually come into effect on March 1st. So we're going to be right here in March to file those charges. And then the process it's kind of long and arduous, kind of like the Garrett Garner one was. There's an investigation. There has to be some sort of deliberation on if they're going to press charges, and then how severe those charges are. Oftentimes people don't waste their time with doing charges because you get years of an investigation going. At the end of the day, the cop loses 3 vacation days. So you have to fight tooth and nail to get even a vacation day taken away from a police officer who continues to be on the force. So we have to make sure that this process leads to his termination, and to actually making sure that Connolly is not only made an example of, but that our family members also see what Joshua does and are inspired to continue to pursue justice against officers who kill in other neighborhoods and against other people as well.
And another thing is we're not looking for sympathy from Ccrb. All we're looking for is for them to do their job and look at the facts and review them and do their job correctly.